Greetings, gorgeous beings of light from the spectacular Gold Coast hinterland in Queensland, Australia. My name is Almara. I'm coming to you with 100 Miracles in 100 Days project and the first step of my fifth dimension activation and effortless manifesting quickie. Please take a big, long, slow, deep breath in or a soft, gentle breath. Doesn't really matter, just so long as you follow the breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Letting go of everything outside this moment. I've got the hiccups now. And bringing your awareness within. And the easiest way, or the best way to get the most out of this, is once you feel your awareness within, return your breath to in through the nose and out through the nose, and just breathe the source light in, which is embedded in my voice. Source codes are embedded in my voice. I've meditated for about 4 hours this morning, and that's normal, 4 to 6 hours. I integrate all the incoming frequencies that are happening right now since the eclipse in November last year. And then all you have to do is listen to keep your frequency high and to begin to dissolve that which is not in alignment with your source being of light within. We tell a miracle story first to raise your frequency so that when it comes time to connect to the fifth dimension, you can do that fairly easily. If anything comes up, then just breathe. It doesn't mean that you've got poop going on. It means that the high frequencies have shook, is not the right word, shaken that stuff to the surface. And all you have to do is breathe and let it go. The last thing you want to do is go around playing in that, going, oh, I've got a leg ache, oh, I've got a neck ache. No, just breathe into it and release it. Because if it's showing up, it's because it's 99% clear and it's time to be released. Because underneath your poop is this extraordinary, infinite, eternal, rich, abundant, gorgeous, sexy, radiant, powerful, beyond measure being of light that you've always been. That is always trying to come to the forefront, but it has to break through the layers of stuff that you've put on top of it or has been put on top of it for you by schools, by governments, by family, whatever, religions, and it needs to just break through that stuff. So that's why when it looks like it's coming up, it's really the light pushing it up out of your being. Just breathe for me, please. So today's is another little miracle. It's miracle number 64. And just to show you that sometimes how we look at things and how we judge things is not always how it is. So yesterday we spoke of how Jack went to visit his favourite family after he came with me after he'd passed over. And Em, the daughter who supposedly was a spastic or whatever terrible name they call these people, she has different abilities. But she did have the mentality of about a 3-year-old, but she could paint and she could do. I didn't see that in her. When I met her, I saw that she had a gold aura, and she's one of the few people I've met in my life with a gold aura, and that she was kind of way beyond everyone else. But people just treated her like there was something the matter with her. What's really fascinating is some of these people that come in with different abilities, they come in to teach us to be more compassionate, to teach us to be more kind. But the thing about it is, you know, I asked Leslie, I remember asking her, or Richard, can't remember which one, I said, is there days when she just looks like she's dribbling and she's not here, she's gone somewhere? And they went, yeah. I said, that's because her soul is off doing stuff on the planet. And they come in those bodies because they don't have to work, they They get fed, they get clothed. They don't have to do all the normal stuff that you and I do. And they're actually here for a completely different purpose. And this will be, well, this story doesn't really, but it just proves that she had an extra ability that some of us have worked for years and years to develop our spiritual abilities, and Em's was just there. So Richard passed away, and Leslie's eldest son had told Em about that, and she was just like, oh, so there's just got to be Mum and I now. But they never, she just went off to school like she normally did. She never went to the funeral. She never knew where Richard was buried. She didn't know none of that stuff. And she's supposed to have, remember, she's supposed to have the capacity of a 3-year-old. And one day, another of Leslie's sons took her and Em and his children down to the beach. The cemetery in Tilba, if you ever go to Tilba, ask someone where just the Tilba cemetery is. It is an old, quaint cemetery, and you can only get in there, into this cemetery, if you have history in the thing. Otherwise, you have to be buried at Narooma or Cobargo or whenever. But it's a tiny little cemetery that just looks out over the ocean. It's quite exquisite. Or you're a pastor. Apparently, if you're a pastor or a religious leader, you can get in there as well. But I used to go and do a lot of my activations up there. If you go back, all the way back through my YouTube, like back 2, 3, 4 years, you'll see I took a lot of the videos from there because it was just exquisitely beautiful. But anyway, so Richard was buried there because they're one of the original settlers of the district. And this particular day, one of Leslie's sons was taking her to, well, he dropped Leslie off at the cemetery, but just continued, it's probably only a couple of 100 metres, down to the water with Em and his 2 children to go play in the ocean. Or on, it's like almost like a private beach. It's absolutely exquisite. That's why I used to go up and do the readings there, because you can get onto the beach there, and not many people go there. It's really, really exquisitely beautiful and clean and just gorgeous. White sandy beaches, etc. So just recently, please. So Leslie had gone to visit Richard's grave, and back comes her son saying that Em wanted to come in. So Leslie was walking back down to him when she saw, her son walking up, and he just said to her, Em wants to go and see Dad. And they were all confused because she'd never been to the funeral. She didn't know what it is. So they just said, okay, let her go. And they just stayed on the outside of the gate of the thing. Em went in and went directly to where Richard's grave was, and then started dancing on the end of his grave. She didn't know where his grave was. Nobody had told her where his grave was. She hadn't seen that. When Leslie was there, she wouldn't have been able to see that far. And she just went directly in, and she can't read, so she wouldn't have been able to read that it was his headstone. I don't even think, actually, because it was shortly thereafter, I don't think it had a proper headstone on it anyway. I think they had just put a marble cross until, how the earth has to settle down for about a year, and then they put a proper headstone on. There was no proper headstone or anything, and yet Em went directly to his grave. And one of the things she used to do, she was a tall girl, because Richard's quite tall, and she would often just, play with him and be stepping on his toes. And then as he got older, he was like, please don't do that because his toes would hurt, And because this time she was just like a little girl, just dancing on his feet, where his feet would be at the grave. But she walked straight in and went straight to where his grave was. There's not lots of people buried there, but there'd still be like 50, 100 or whatever, So there you go. Another kind of, just a little, it's not really a miracle as such. It's more of a living in the world but not of it kind of story. Please don't judge these people. Most of them are far more advanced than what we are. And if you just sit with them, you would learn the most exquisite exquisite. You would just learn some exquisite stuff about them. They're really, really beautiful people. And most of them, they may not have mental capacities or even physical capacities like us, but in a lot of times they've got really, really advanced souls that come in those bodies to teach us. So just breathe for me, please. That shocked everybody. Because she hadn't been to the funeral or been to his gravesite before. So, and they'd kept all that stuff from her. I suppose they were really keeping it because she was like a 3-year-old. They didn't want her to become distressed by it, but she knew exactly what was going on. So just breathe for me, please. Lots of wonderful things happened when I lived in Tilba and on the south coast of New South Wales. I myself wasn't able to go to Richard's funeral because I was 5 hours down across the border looking after someone's pussycat while they were on a 5-month holiday. But I actually just tuned in and was there with Leslie telepathically, and she said that she could feel me there. So they're the things that you can do for people too if you can't get there. So, okay, just breathe. And if you want to know how to do all that awesome stuff, just keep in mind we are doing a 10-week fifth dimension spiritual activator training. It's now going to be happening in early April. So keep that in mind if you'd like to learn more advanced techniques on how to tune in, connect to your own infinite oneness, to the divine I am presence within you, and use that energy to make a difference in the world. Alrighty. Just breathe for me, please. Just bring your awareness within again, and we're just going to do the first step of the fifth dimension activation. So just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And on your next breath in, raise your hands up and point them to the sun and breathe out and tie the energy from your fingertips around the sun. Don't worry that it's billions of miles away, just make it your intention to take your attention to the sun. And you'll be there, energetically. That's all we're looking for. You don't have to be there physically. Took me 2 weeks to learn that. When Spirit first taught me in 1997. Make it your intention to take your attention to the sun. Breathe out, connecting to the sun. Breathe in. With your hands, draw down a huge scoop of that source light from the sun as it hits your crown chakra. Breathe it out into your body. Take the last 5% down through your feet, activating a root system down through your feet or down through your base chakra, your tailbone, at the base of your spine. All the way down into the core of Mother Earth, and tie that energy, that last 5% of the source light from the sun, tied around Mother Earth. Breathe in now. Bring all the gorgeous energy from the big golden sun in the center of Mother Earth up. Breathe that source, that energy, that earth energy into your body. Breathe out. Take the last 5% up to the sun. Source light down. Breathe that out into your body. Last 5% into earth. Earth energy with all the minerals and nutrients. Everything you need to sustain your physical life here on earth up. Breathe it out into your body. Last 5% up to the sun. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. So that's my step one. It's so simple, but spirituality was simple until everybody decided to complicate it. If you do this every day, standing barefoot on Mother Earth, if you can't, if you imagine you're standing barefoot on Mother Earth, you can sit down. It's best standing. You can sit, and you'll feel the difference when you sit, when you stand. You honestly will. But if you crook, you can do it laying down, but just be on your side so the energy can flow up and down your spine, and imagine you're standing barefoot on earth. That is particularly important if you're in a place where it's snowing and you don't want to go outside. You can just do it anywhere, but just imagine that you're standing barefoot on Mother Earth, and it will re-establish all of your meridian lines from the earth to the sun, which they used to be thousands of years ago. Now most people's meridian lines are stuffed up between their feet and their head. And if you never even come and do our training with us and you just began to practice that one step for 28 days, you would notice a remarkable difference. And you can go to my website, www.ilmaraseraphim.com, and find a testimonial from a lady who did just that. There's also a testimonial from another gentleman who just worked with me for just a number of weeks and had major shifts happen as well. So we're just now going to send you a blast of beautiful fifth dimensional energy, which you can breathe into any area of your life you wish. So breathe it into your work, breathe it into your body, breathe it into your relationships, breathe it into making more money, breathe it into getting a pay rise, whatever it is. Or you can just breathe it into your body and enjoy it for yourself. And there's more details of what's contained in the spiritual activator training, the fifth dimension spiritual activator training below. Just breathe it in. Let go of everything that's outside of this moment. Breathe in, breathe the energy in through your nose and into your being. And then if you want to send it to a pay rise, you just breathe it out through your hands to your office, or you can just use it to raise your own frequency, and that pay rise will probably come anyway. It's a great story about Rowan in there somewhere who wanted a pay rise, didn't change, and then was going to apply for a high position, then decided not to, and then they came along and gave him the same pay rise anyway. So miracles happen everywhere. You just got to open yourself up to them. Alrighty. Love, love, love. My deepest love and richest blessings to you all. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.